I'm about to wear this watch right now. So, you really want to know how you can set a goal and actually achieve it. Not like the other times that you wanted to do it and you started doing it but then quit. If you don't want to do that, then keep watching this video and I'll tell you every tip that I have written down that can actually help you. And there are even more tips that I will not mention in this video today. These tips are the most basic and one of the best ones to set a goal and actually commit to it. First of all, prioritize and find a goal that can actually benefit you the most and that you believe that is the one that attracts you the most, that you think that it's the most valuable one, and just stick to one goal. Don't stick to like 3-4 different goals because you're gonna split your attention and that does not help your end goal because you're gonna give not 100% on each one, you're gonna give 50 to 25% on each one, which does not help your situation at all. So what you should do is you should start by focusing on one singular goal. Find a goal that is out of your reach, something that is hard for you to do. Like, let's say for example, don't set a goal of making like 500 euros a month. Try to set a goal of making like 3,000 to 5,000 euros a month, which is abnormal. Like, it's so much for a normal person, but because you're not normal, of course, it's gonna be way more beneficial and suit you way better because you're not normal. Setting a more difficult goal that seems out of reach is something that motivates your brain to actually work harder rather than work less, because if it's easy, if the goal is easy, you're not gonna work as many hours because you know the deadline is like super long. It's okay, I'll do some work here, some work there, but you never get to your goal or you'll make like way less progress. So it's better to actually set a higher goal, like a goal that is way beyond your reach. You believe is way beyond your reach, but it actually isn't your reach. If somebody else has done it, then you can do it too. Try to write it down on a piece of paper. Don't write it down on like your phone, on a tablet or your PC or Notion. Don't do that because it helps you to remember it more and actually memorize it and just have it more in your brain, and it's way better because that's how we were evolved. That's how we used to do it. And that's how we remember it even more, not by typing, because it's like a very new thing to us as humans. Try to break it down, try to break your goal down into small pieces. Like, let's say for example, your goal is to learn finance, okay? So what do? You actually start by maybe like planning out your week. So let's say for example, you want to read one book a week, view one podcast a day, research 2 hours a day, for example, and just do that. Break it down to small pieces to what do you need to do, the research, the work, maybe you're gonna start a business. Try to break it down to small pieces so you can easily know what you have to do and how you're going to start. Because if you're thinking about it more broadly and like thinking about it as a business, of course it's gonna be harder and more overwhelming. But if you break it down to smaller pieces that seem more logical to you and fit with your schedule, it's gonna be way easier to actually get to work and actually finish those tasks and get to your goal way faster, of course. Try when writing down a goal. It's like a small tip, but like if you're writing down a goal, try to write, I am rich, I am a guitar player, I am a professional swimmer, for example. Write down your goal in a way that says, I am that guy, I already am. So that doesn't seem overwhelming. So because if you have like tasks and goals that are like, do this, it's gonna seem like more work and it's gonna motivate you a bit less, but that's okay. It's to help you a little bit. Of course, it's not gonna solve your problems. You're gonna have to build discipline anyway. So just grab your balls and build some discipline. Get to work, even if it doesn't comfort you that much. It's a small tip, it helps some people it doesn't matter. Get to your goals. Try to not tell everyone about your plans and your work and what you're going to do in the beginning of your journey. For example, if you have an idea of what you're going to do, before starting to tell everyone that you're going to do it, don't do that. Just like pause, get to learn, view things, how they work, start business, get into the progress. And then when you start seeing results and you get into the lifestyle and you get into the habits, start telling people that this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing. Because even if they try to throw you off and try to discourage you, you're gonna be like, nah, I'm already past that. But if you start doing it from the beginning, you're gonna be like, oh, maybe on second thought, I'm not gonna do it because it's too hard. Listen to what you want and don't listen to others' opinion. Others' opinion may come later. Focus on the goal, make some progress, see if you actually like what you're doing. If it gives you results and makes you happier, of course, it depends on that as well. But don't just be like, okay, I'm gonna tell everyone. Just hold that for a few months, then you'll see what you're gonna do. Of course, you can tell your parents and close relatives, like if you're going to the gym or you're going to record or something, of course, but you don't have to tell everyone about it. One way to help yourself progress way more in less time is to actually set a goal of 3 months, 12 weeks, of course, to work as hard as you can. Just set a deadline. I have to do this, I have to achieve this until the deadline. Of course, 12 weeks are not enough for some goals. So you're gonna need to work a bit more on that, but that doesn't matter because your goal is to learn that skill in 12 weeks, 3 months. For adults, it's gonna be, you're gonna have to find a time when you don't work. Maybe it will take a bit longer because you don't have such a lot of free time. But for kids like me, like if you're at uni, and it's summertime, of course you don't have anything to do except a part-time job. And even if you don't have a part-time job, it's even better because you're gonna have even more time to work on that specific goal. So set a timer, the days you're gonna work, how many hours you're gonna work on that sort of thing, and what hours you're gonna work on a certain, a certain task, a certain goal, just so they can fit your schedule and you can actually improve. And do that every day, week after week, until you get to the 12 weeks and you see a lot more results than if you hadn't set that deadline. You can really increase the chances of you accomplishing a goal if for example, when you're very motivated and ready to go to work and actually, accomplish those tasks, conquer the day, try to visualize yourself winning and actually accomplishing that goal for a few minutes a day. That helps a lot to keep that vision and to give that extra motivation and give you a sense of what it feels like when you win. So when you get to that, when you try to work, you're gonna be like, okay, this is what I'm gonna be in. If I do the same thing, this is what I'm gonna end up in a few months or a year or 2 or 3 or 4. It doesn't matter, it depends on when your goal ends, how much time you need to get to your goal. And likewise, when you feel unmotivated, try to think of all the failures, all the ways you can fail and how it will affect you as a person. Let's say, for example, you're trying to become rich because you want to help your family, retire your parents, have a nice house, maybe even give a good life to, have a good income so you can provide for your kids, your family. What if you fail doing that? Try to think about everything you could have lost if you failed to do that. You're gonna fail to retire your parents, you're gonna fail to provide for your family, you're gonna fail to be a high-value man, for example. You're gonna feel at a lot of things, and that should scare you a little bit. It's like a fear motivation, but it really helps if you feel unmotivated. Try to do this with me right now. Try to close your eyes for a little bit and visualize yourself winning or losing depending on your motivation at the moment you're watching this video. Okay, I'm not gonna sit here for a few minutes to do that, but you get the gist of it. You did it a little bit in your head, hopefully, of course. But the point is that try to do this for at least once a day when you are starting to progress with your goal. And it's gonna really help to give you that visual perspective or something like that, like of what it can look like if you win or lose. I believe this is gonna really motivate you. It does really help me. One thing that really helps if you're procrastinating and you're trying to focus on your subject or your laptop or maybe a person or an object, whatever, actually squint your eyes a little bit and focus on that particular line of, maybe let's say for example you're writing a script and you want to focus on that certain line. Just focus really like on that, like for a few seconds, like 30 seconds on a specific line. Focus on that and then try to start typing and do that for a little bit so you can refocus back to the work if you're like wondering, if your mind is wandering or whatever. Just so you can refocus and stop wasting time. And that really helps to actually refocus. Of course, it doesn't always work, but it's better to do that if you're out of ideas or if you're just starting out and you have a lot of work to do. Just get back. Try to do that. Get back fast, finish your work, and then you can do whatever you want. You can like broaden your vision by looking at the corners of your room, trying to broaden your vision, to relax your vision so that you don't have to be 100% focused like for a long time, because that damages your eyes a little bit and you get way more tired way easier. This also helps with finishing more work faster, of course, and quicker than usual. When reaching a daily milestone, like let's say for example a 5-kilometer run, or like 1 hour of reading a book, watching a podcast, try to reward yourself, but don't just reward yourself straight away. Have a coin and spin it, and if you get heads, you reward yourself, and if you get tails, you don't reward yourself. It's like a bit random, but it helps a little bit with like a surprise and stuff like that. Like I say, for example, by flipping the coin and getting heads, once you finish like a milestone, visualize yourself, like the thing I told you before, like visualize yourself winning, reward yourself. Like if it's a bigger milestone, try to reward yourself by not eating fast food, watching porn, or doing anything else that has to do with decreasing your progress, essentially. Try to go out and maybe buy a new t-shirt, maybe a new polo, shorts, maybe pants, new shoes, a watch, maybe new glasses, or try to get a haircut or something. Try to do something that actually helps you, maybe buy equipment. Of course, it doesn't have to always be with money, but try to do something that actually gives you pleasure, that doesn't decrease your progress. Try to brainstorm a little bit before doing that. If for any reason you feel unmotivated to complete a certain task, like a big task, for example, it has to do with like 3 hours of your day, maybe it has to do with editing, maybe it has to do with training, maybe it's something else that is long, and sometimes it's of course you're not in the mood to do it. Of course it helps all the time, but of course you have to do it. So how do you do it? How do we solve this problem? Try to break it down into small chunks. Let's say for example you're working for like 2 hours. Okay, break it down into 4 half-an-hour blocks, like chunks, and then work half an hour, take a break, half an hour, take a break, half an hour, take a break, and do that until you finish your work for the day. Of course, it's gonna take way longer, yes, but if you do that, it's gonna be way easier to be more in the mood, and it's like a small reward every time because you're finishing it, your mini accomplishment for like 4 times, which adds up to a big accomplishment, which is the task that you have for the day. Of course, you don't have to always do this. It depends on how unmotivated and motivated you are. But of course, you always have to do it. Always. I hope you liked watching this video, and I have similar videos to this one on my channel that I would like you to go and watch. If you like this one, be my guest, and I'll see you next week. Stop wasting time.